Hey, today I'm going to be talking about the diet aspect of trying to build muscle. Once you have a good training program, you need to have a diet that follows. Because you could train as much as you want, but if your diet is not in check, none of that training is actually going to be fruitful. So, since you're actively trying to gain muscle, what you need to do is you need to be in a caloric surplus. That means you need to be bulking. Now, what that means exactly is you have your maintenance calories. These are the calories that you need to eat every single day to maintain your weight. If you eat this amount of calories, you won't gain weight nor will you lose weight. If you eat slightly above your maintenance calories, meaning you are in a surplus of maybe 2 to 300 calories, then you will slowly start to gain weight. This, paired by your training and adequate protein intake, you will slowly start to gain muscle. So, exactly how much protein do you need? You need about 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So, if I am around 135 pounds, I'm going to need about 95 grams of protein per day. You can calculate how many grams of protein you need based on your own body weight. The second thing is you need to be in a caloric surplus, which means you need to be eating, for example, if your maintenance calories are 2400, you should be eating around 27 to 2800 calories per day. Now, most of those calories should be carbohydrates because you need energy to actually fuel your workouts. If you don't have enough energy during your workouts are going to be lagging. You won't be training as hard, and since you won't be training as hard, your muscles won't get the stimulus to grow. And since you're actively trying to gain weight, there is a chance that you might gain a lot of fat instead of muscle because you did not give your muscles the stimulus while giving them the resources which they needed to grow. So the point you need to remember from that is when you're trying to bulk, you have to take your training seriously. You have to take your training seriously regardless of whether you're trying to gain weight or lose weight. But this is why you need to take it seriously while gaining weight because there's a good chance if you don't take it seriously, you're going to gain excess fat and you don't want that. So you need to be in a caloric surplus, you need to be consuming enough calories, and you need to be training hard at the gym, doing the required amount of volume that you have set for yourself. Now, when it comes to fats, about 30% of your calories should come from fats. Some people have a hard time actually getting the calories in, such as myself. So, if it's easier for you, you can increase the amount of fats in your diet to up to even 40%. And I would not recommend going above 40% because after that, since fats themselves take a long time to digest, it's actually going to make the process of eating much harder. So, the most amount of fats that I would recommend that you eat if you want to make it easier for yourself to actually consume the food is about 40%. Don't go above that. And you're also risking eating too little carbohydrates, which you need to fuel your workouts. So if you keep all of these things in check, you have a good training program and you follow these exact instructions, you will slowly and steadily gain weight. The mistake a lot of people make is they try to gain too much weight too quickly. So they will have a big caloric surplus. Say their maintenance is 2500 calories, they may eat 3000 or 3500 calories. And what this does is they think they're going to build a lot more muscle by eating a lot more. That's not true. They might build slightly more muscle, but a lot of that excess weight gain is going to come from fat. And they end up looking worse than they did at the start of their program. So, whenever bulking should be taken slow and steadily. And what this will do is most of the weight that you will gain over months and years. Usually, you don't bulk continuously for multiple years. You usually do it for weeks or months. So, for the upcoming weeks and or months, you will gain mostly. muscle, and maybe a little bit of fat because that is inevitable. If you are a beginner, there's a chance that 100% of the weight that you gain is muscle. So if you keep all of these things in mind, you will build muscle effectively.